So we're going to take a look at the solutions to the Chapter 3 homework problems, which are very brief. They're just vector problems. So for problem 11, it gave you a unit vector. I asked you to find the resultant magnitude and direction with respect to axes. I kind of like to use the north, south, east, west thing. You can use degrees counterclockwise from the right, which is basically 0 in math. Or you could say things like, instead of 58 degrees north of east, you could say 58 degrees up from the positive x-axis. At any rate, these I hope are fairly straightforward. This had no units. This was meters per second, that was meters per second squared. So I drew them in the order that they were listed. So negative 20 I hat, 40 plus 40 j hat, for example. For 13, it gave you vectors A, B. It asked you to figure out vector C in components. So 4i plus negative 3i is I. Negative 2j plus 5j is 3j. So that's the answer in vector or in component form. To get the magnitude, it was 3.16. And then I try to draw these on an axis. Again, I don't have my notebook is not one with quadrile rule, so it's a little bit annoying. For 23, you were given that A was 4 I hat, C was negative 2 j hat. You're told that A plus B plus C equals 1 j hat, so this is simply an algebra problem. 4 I hat plus whatever B is plus 0 I hat equals no I hat. So B had to be negative 4 I hat. 0 j hat plus whatever B has minus 2 j hat equals plus 1 j hat. So B had to be plus 3 j hat. So ends up being a magnitude of 5, 53 degrees west of north, or you could say 37 degrees north of west. This one, morning, I don't know why they're using S, that sometimes that's for displacement, so that's a little weird. Anyhow, I use my Pythagorean theorem. Remember, ask Mr. Hewland about it. And it does only work when you have these three things are perpendicular to each other. So it doesn't work just a squared plus b squared plus c squared equals the resultant if they're at non-perpendicular angles. They rounded this incorrectly in the answer to the book to 5,000 meters or 5.0 kilometers. With sig figs, again, we're not going to really worry about that too much. I wanted to show that it wasn't really just the 5,000. It was a little bit more than that. But again, with the crappy sig figs, probably should round it to 5,000. Anyhow, that's it. So